Plaintiff alleges in the complaint that the negligence of the defendant included, but is not limited to, the following: in failing to maintain the premises, in failing to keep the premises in a safe and hazard-free condition, in failing to warn plaintiff as to the aforesaid dangerous and hazardous condition in and around said premises, in failing to prevent injury to the plaintiff as a result of the general negligence of the defendant by its agents, servants, and/or employees, in violating various rules, regulations, ordinances, and statutes governing the premises, in failing to warn the plaintiff of impending danger therein, and in causing, creating, and/or allowing to remain a dangerous and hazardous persons, and in particular infants, on the premises of the defendants, in failing to properly control all persons, and in particular infants, on the premises of the defendants, in failing to require parents and guardians of infants who are patrons on the premises to control and supervise their infants, in failing to enforce the requirement that parents and guardians obtain on April 8, 2000, when a child came into contact with her and caused her to fall at defendant's bowling alley located within the Port Authority bus terminal in Manhattan. Plaintiff's main claim is that defendant failed to properly supervise all persons, and in particular children, on its premises. Plaintiff also claims that defendant was negligent in that it failed to require parents and guardians of children to supervise them at the premises. Defendant moves for summary judgment and to dismiss this action on the ground that defendant, as a matter of law, owed a duty to plaintiff to control the conduct of the child with whom she had contact. Defendant argues that it cannot be held liable for permitting children in the premises or for being unable to monitor the activities of each child in relation to other patrons of the facility. Plaintiff Martha Wilson, a 73-year-old woman, testified during a deposition held on July 21, 2001, that she and her child son, Jimmy Diamond, entered defendant's bowling alley on April 8, 2000, sometime after 6 p.m. to kill a little bit of time before the bus. Defendant's Exhibit F at page 12. Plaintiff testified that she noticed a security guard when she entered the bowling alley, Defendant's Exhibit F at 28. After entering, plaintiff and her son walked down toward the bowling area, past a bar area that is a part of defendant's premises. They stood for approximately 5 to 10 minutes in front of a counter that had bowling balls and pictures of bowlers on it, Defendant's Exhibit F at 18. There was no staff at the counter during that time. No children were bowling, but they were running around. While standing there, plaintiff noticed 2 young children chasing each other near where she and her son stood. No adult told the children to stop running. And at page 30, when plaintiff and her son were exiting the bowling alley, plaintiff states that she was struck by something moving quickly that caused her to fall forward. Plaintiff then noticed that there was a child pinned beneath her. Defendant's security guard, Charles Finch, who was on duty during plaintiff's accident, testified at his deposition held on December 13, 2001, that there were many birthday parties at defendant's bowling alley. He explained that one of his duties was to attempt to make sure that children did not run out of the facility without parents. I have to make sure that nothing happens, nothing goes wrong, no fights, anything like that, anything that of that nature, he said. Mr. Finch testified that he recalled seeing plaintiff and her son enter the facility, although he claimed that they entered the facility at 2:30 p.m. He also testified that they were there for nearly 30 minutes and that they had ordered food. Mr. Finch said that he saw a young girl about 1 or 2 years old chasing one of the regular adult bowlers. Mr. Finch stopped them both from running and prevented the little girl from running into the bar. He testified that plaintiff walked haltingly. He also claimed that he had turned away for a few seconds to look at the arcade area. When he turned back, he saw plaintiff go over. By an affidavit submitted in opposition to the instant motion, plaintiff's son, Jimmy Diamond, alleges that he observed defendant's security guard, Charles Finch, upon entering defendant's bowling alley, as well as two young girls about the age of 4 or 5 running wildly out of control at paragraph 2. He states that he observed the girls knocking into things and crashing into people, but at no time did he see anyone try to control them. He states further that Mr. Finch observed this behavior and did nothing. He also states that one of the young girls crashed into his mother and she was injured as a result. He alleges that they did not enter the restaurant located in defendant's bowling alley or eat anything, as Mr. Finch testified. Finally, defendant submits an unsigned accident report in support of the instant motion. The report alleges that plaintiff tripped over Miss Harper and fell face downward to the ground. Defendant's security guard, Charles Finch, is alleged in the report to have seen the incident. Mr. Diamond states in his affidavit that neither he nor his mother filled out the report and that such a report had not been shown to them at the time.